Hello everyone. The following presentation is a brief summary and analysis of Chapter 11 of Oscar Wilde's novel The Picture of Dorian Gray. Over the next couple of years, Dorian remains obsessed and completely captivated by the Yellow Book and the main character whose life is almost parallel to Dorian's. He gets it bound or covered in different colors to suit his moods, and he reads it over and over again. It's as if the story in the Yellow Book tells the story of Dorian's life. Both Dorian and the main character in the Yellow Book lead lives of seeking the ultimate pleasure while disregarding morals and virtues. However, the only difference between the main character in the Yellow Book and Dorian is that the main character suffers the loss of his own beauty, but Dorian's beauty is as noticeable as ever. Dorian relishes in this difference between him and the main character of the Yellow Book. Dorian's friends and acquaintances start to notice his sensual lifestyle and begin gossiping about it. However, towards Dorian, they are still charmed by his good looks and youthful personality. Lord Henry is also represented in the pages of the Yellow Book. His philosophies of living a sensual, hedonistic lifestyle are the same philosophies that are put forward in the book. It's almost as if at this stage, Lord Henry's influence and corruption of Dorian's soul has no bounds or limits. Both the painting and the book are what holistically influence and shape Dorian's way of living. Dorian would sometimes vanish from his social circles and go on mysterious trips. Each time he comes back, he would check on the portrait, which was becoming more and more hideous. Instead of feeling scared at how ugly the painting is becoming, Dorian is mesmerized by the feeling of superiority and sense of control he has over the changing portrait. Dorian's desire for experiences and knowledge was continuously developing, still thanks to Lord Henry's influence. By now, Dorian has completely submitted himself to a life of pleasure. He once felt insignificant next to the youthfulness of the painting in Basil's art studio, but now, years later, he relishes in his own youthfulness compared to the painting that is hidden in the schoolroom. Dorian finds pleasure in actually watching the destruction he is causing to his soul. Despite the secretive downfall of Dorian's soul, he was still managing to keep up his reputation and status in society and in front of his friends and acquaintances. When Dorian returned from his trips, he would throw lavish dinner parties in which he would host wealthy guests and artists. At these dinner parties, Dorian would have the finest music playing and the most luxurious pieces of art to decorate his rooms. He was admired by men in his social circles for his beauty and his impeccable sense of fashion. However, for Dorian, as he was told so often by Lord Henry, the best form of art was life itself. Fully embracing Lord Henry's ideals, Dorian's main desire in his life was to be an icon of fashion, to have modern ideas, and to live by the principles of sensuality and pleasure, rather than traditional conservative values. The narrator explains at length the various interests that Dorian engages in to fill his life of leisure. Dorian's first interest is Catholicism, in other words, the Catholic religion. He is fascinated and attracted by its idols and magnificent rituals. However, the strict moral codes that the religion expects are too confining for Dorian. You cannot follow a religion with strict moral rules and also be a hedonist at the same time. The two ideas will ultimately be conflicting, so Dorian chooses to move on from Catholicism and immerses himself in the more physical laws of Darwinism. Darwinism is the theory that life changes over long periods of time because nature selects organisms with helpful traits to survive and reproduce. However, Darwinism is just one theory. Dorian feels that he cannot only restrict himself to one theory of life. Lord Henry's theories allow Dorian freedom and room to be spontaneous and indulgent, but theories or belief systems that don't allow freedom or pleasure in abundance are too restricting for Dorian. Dorian's interests move away from religion and philosophy, and he becomes obsessed with perfumes, music, jewels, and tapestries. With every obsession, Dorian not only collects the material objects, but he also immerses himself in the romantic stories behind them. These stories include tales of kings and queens who wore elegant crowns, and the tapestries that were created by people from exotic cultures. This collection of treasures has become a rich world that surrounds Dorian, but underneath all this wealth and luxury, the old fear of the changing portrait still haunts him. It has got to a stage now that Dorian feels a compulsive need to frequently check on the portrait. He even finds it difficult to be away from his house for too long, in fear for how the portrait is changing. As his paranoia grows, Dorian's behavior gets stranger, and his social circle becomes more distrustful of him. Rumors about Dorian's lifestyle and strange behavior start to spread. We are never explicitly told of all the wrongdoings Dorian has done, but the narrator explains how Dorian is banned from certain places and establishments. Ironically, this only increases people's curiosity about Dorian. Lord Henry's theory that entertainment and material wealth are important to one's reputation than having good morals seems to have come true. Dorian enjoys walking through the rooms of his house and admiring all the portraits of his ancestors and the luxurious items and pieces of art he has collected. He believes that all of these items have somehow shaped who he has become. He also identifies with the characters in literature, in novels, and on the stage, whom Dorian believes seem to tell parts of his own life story. He consistently comes back to the Yellow Book, reading his most loved passages over and over, especially those about violent acts, poisons, and seductions. Dorian's life at this stage becomes consumed and powered by dangerous thoughts and ideas. The novel is filled with pictures, displays, and works of art, each influencing Dorian's character in some way, shape, or form. Dorian becomes so obsessed with the artistic portrayal of things in life that the characters in these works of art become more real to him than the people whose lives he is actually ruining. Thank you for watching this presentation on Chapter 11 of The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Keep an eye out for summaries and analyses of the rest of the novel.